Hello and welcome to the Love Recovery Room. I am Pink Girl Teaches, and I'm here to share information about narcissistic abuse. It's about awareness as well as provide recovery support. I am a certified life and relationship coach. I was actually preparing to do a video on why does a narcissist block and unblock you and block you, and I will do that. I'll record it just after I do this. But while I was just kind of gathering my thoughts, I just had a thought about, just speaking to somebody. If it's you, if it's somebody that you know, please share the video with them. But I wanted to talk to somebody, or I just felt led. I just felt the need to talk about what it's like immediately when you're coming out of a relationship with a narcissist or a toxic person. These are the things that I did personally, and some of the things that I wish I would have known. And the goal of me sharing this information is simply to encourage you in your journey. This, like, when you're first discarded, or even if they discard you, I've been on both sides. I've been discarded and I have discarded the narcissist. Two different people. And I didn't recognize that, the first person was actually a narcissist because he was a covert narcissist. And that's slightly a little more difficult to detect than like your malignant narcissist, the overt narcissist, or even just a psychopath or a sociopath. The covert is a little more harder to detect. And so I kind of, I didn't have all the information. And one thing that you have to understand, when you break up with a narcissist or that relationship comes to an end, your recovery process is not going to look like the standard breakup of a relationship, simply because it was not your standard relationship. With your standard relationship, you can expect some reciprocity. You can expect to give, to give your partner something and they will give you back more or less what you're putting in. It's a push and a pull. Like, you work together, you are equally yoked in the goal, in relationship goals. You can't have any relationship goals with a narcissist because they don't want a relationship with you. They want power and control of you. They want to be an authority figure in your life, and they honestly just feel like they own you. And if somebody's looking at you like you are my property, there is no relationship there. And another thing with the narcissist, and I'm sharing mostly my own experiences as well as what I've learned with other people and some of the people that I've coached, right? A lot of the times you're not the only person, and it was me finding that out that was like, oh no, because cheating has always been and will always be a deal breaker for me. So if we were to talk about relationship deal breakers, I really wouldn't even bring up cheating, because that's just the standard. Like, play that game if you want to, but I will leave at all costs. I don't care how much my heart hurts. I don't care how much my heart breaks. I'm going to go, because it's just a hard no. That's something that I won't do. Like, if I'm into you, if we're in a relationship, I'm not talking to nobody else. I'm not doing anything with anybody else. I just don't believe in it. And for me, it says a lot about a person's character. So it wasn't until I found that out that, well, that he had other people. And I mean, like, this man had time on his hands, because how? It was hard for me to figure out, like, you have all these other women in your life and they were all as secure as I thought I was in the relationship. And so it's like, how does somebody have this kind of time and dedication? But this is the world that they live in. They manufacture their whole lives. They live in a fantasy land. And the very first thing that I feel is so important is that you come to terms with the fact that nothing was real. And if you're able to grasp onto that first and quickly, then you can begin the process of really healing, because that's one of the biggest lies. Being in a relationship, or the illusion of a relationship, is the biggest lie that the narcissist is telling you, because you are not in a relationship. Relationships, for a ship, we think of a ship. Think of a cruise ship. Everybody on that cruise ship, everybody in the relationship has to have a common destination. You don't have a cruise ship that's going to stop like 5 miles into the ocean and stop and let somebody off. You're all going to one common port. Now, people can get off at a different port and continue, but you get what I'm saying, is your relationship has to be going in a common towards a common destination. Just like with our interpersonal relationships, with our intimate relationships, we have to have a common goal. We have to have a common desired outcome. And, as well as common core values, as well as common belief systems, so that you can actually get to where you want to go, or where where you desire to be. And without that, it's just not going to happen. It's going to be, you're going to be unbalanced. You're going to be unequally yoked, and that becomes a problem. Unequally yoking or equally yoking goes beyond just your faith. It goes your principles, your how you want to raise children, your finances, lifestyles. I mean, there's so many levels to this, but you cannot have that with a narcissist. So for me, the very first step was just accepting that this is a lie, and that was hard. It took me a little while, because initially I was just numb. I couldn't believe it. Like, I was devastated, y'all. I was so heartbroken. And it was one of the deepest pains that I ever felt as far as relationships are concerned. It was so, that pain cut so deep. But I was numb, and I was just desperate, like, for answers. But at the same time, I had a little bit of pride that said that, no, you're not going to seek it from him. And I'm so glad I didn't do that. And I encourage you not to seek the narcissist for closure, because here, understand this. When you go to them, because really, I get it. You want to know, how could you do this to me? How could you lie to me? How could you walk out of my life like this? Because sometimes narcissists get it. They leave people, some people suicidal, some people actually will go through and commit suicide because of the brokenness that they feel. Some people are left in a financial bind. Some are left homeless. Jobless. Like, they will mess up your employment and not even care. They will come to your work and act a whole fool, and you end up losing your job, kind of thing. And they're happy. They will discard you then. I've heard countless devastating stories that just so, how, but that gives them a source of fuel. That gives them narcissistic supply, because they just feel like they have the right to do these things to you. And it's totally demonic. Like, I don't care. Like, I think it's totally demonic. They are succubus spirits. They just suck the life out of everybody, total leeches. And, you don't deserve that kind of, what they do to you. And a lot of the times, is they are working to try to break down your personal constitution. They're trying to redo the way you see yourselves. Like, you can't believe the lies. Don't seek them for closure at all, because you're not going to get closure. What you are in fact going to do is give them the rush that they need to feel good about themselves. That's another form of supply. You giving them attention, and they're going to deny you. They will not give you closure. You have to understand that closure will always be the gift that you give yourself. And it starts with going back to the first point that I made, is coming to terms with everything being an illusion. Once you get that, you open up the door for your healing. Now, here's the thing about that. The illusion was with them. Allow yourself the grace to just process where you are. Give yourself that opportunity, because what you poured in was who you are. You poured in what you wanted from the relationship, and you poured in what the core value, your core values, you gave of yourself, and you gave from a genuine place. That doesn't take away from you. It just speaks to your character. Even when you notice things are not right, even when you sense, because sometimes we have that gut feeling. And I want to remind you that your intuition does not require any evidence whatsoever. And we have to get to the point where we actually just trust our intuition and are comfortable with that. Your intuition does not require any evidence. And it's hard to, accept that, because we tend to want to seek facts. We want to see, oh, well, I feel like something's going on here. He may be cheating. He may be seeing somebody. Something doesn't feel right. And you want the evidence, but sometimes just don't. A lot of times what you will find is that if you just allow time to do what it does, it'll expose everything. Because one thing about time is it will expose weak bonds. Always. Always. This man and I were together for like almost 2 years before the real truth came out. And the devaluation didn't even start until like maybe our last month and a half, our last 6 weeks together. Now, there were little things that he would do along the way, like he may ghost, not even, he may, he may like go off on me, like, he may just disappear for a little while, like a couple of days a week, because he was in his little feelings and I didn't recognize that I issued a narcissistic injury. There were things that I shouldn't have ignored, and I shouldn't have tried to explain away, but I did, and then looking back in retrospect, it was like, oh, okay. So, allow yourself to just understand that the problem wasn't you. Don't blame yourself. And, you cannot take on the responsibility of other people's poor behavior, their poor decisions. You may be looking at yourself and all the qualities that you possess that are awesome, that a normal person, a healthy person, a well-balanced person would appreciate, would adore, would love, and would actually benefit from. But you can't give it to the narcissist. That is a bottomless pit, a whole abyss, a bucket with a hole in it. It does not matter how much you pour into them. It will never be enough. It will never satisfy them. And that's why they have multiple sources of supply. You do have narcissists out there who can be faithful, but are just terrible narcissists to that partner that they have. But you have those, and I believe it's a large number of them. I can't go and say what percentage because I'm not sure. But there's a large number of them who deal with nothing but multiple partners, because that's how broken up they are on the inside. They can't self-regulate. And they also lack object constancy. So that means it's either all good or all bad. You're either a non-threat or you are a threat. You're either good or you're bad. You could do something that issues a narcissistic injury to them, but you're still an awesome person, but the narcissist won't see that. You just become a threat, and they must now hate you, until they need you. So, that's just how it is with them. So don't personalize. Don't personalize it. Don't let it break you down. Don't let it take away from the person that you are. That's who they are. That's what they do. And, like I was saying, a healthy person will appreciate all of those qualities that you possess. So don't beat yourself up, but sit back and try to figure out what's going on with you. One thing that I did a lot of was journal. I believe in journaling. I encourage you to journal if you don't. And here's the thing. When you journal, what happens is you're just able to set your thoughts into perspective. And sometimes when I journal I write letters to myself. I write letters to people who may have offended me or upset me, hurt my feelings, just to kind of get those emotions out. And the good thing is sometimes you get to the point, and this is where you want to get to, you get to the point where you start writing subconsciously and you begin to pour things out from the depths of your soul. And once you begin to do this, you actually set things into perspective and you can see where your true emotions are. And as you begin to see your emotions in black and white, so to speak, you're able to see what you need to do. For me, I recognize that I try to explain a lot of things away. I didn't want to see things for what they were. I wanted to hold on a little longer. And I was like, well, I'm already in this thing for this amount of time. And then to make it even worse is like, we had met each other's children, and they have found, our kids have formed bonds with each other. And then not only that, like my kids formed a bond and an attachment to him and his kids with me. So it was kind of like, I'm looking at what he's doing. It doesn't feel right. But then I'm thinking, what about the kids? Yeah, but you know what? Kids are not crazy. Kids are not we don't give them as much credit as we need to, because they are actually aware of these things, and they can see. It may just be us who want to protect their feelings, but ultimately, I think they would want what is best for you as their parent, because a happy parent creates a happy environment and your children thrive there. They don't thrive when you're walking on eggshells. They don't thrive when you are selling yourself short. They don't thrive when you have a crazy person in the home. You're either going to create another narcissist, or you're going to create a codependent, or you're just going to have, somebody who's going to need therapy. And the sooner that we are able to to figure out ourselves. We help not just us, but we help those who are in our care, our children, our family at large, our community, and all of those things. Because once you're healthy, or you're in a better place emotionally, mentally, psychologically, spiritually, like, you can flourish, you can do great things, and you are so much better than the narcissist. You deserve true love, and a real partner who's going to give you a real commitment. So listen, what I want to say, what I want my takeaway to be is, like, trust yourself, trust your feelings, trust what your eyes are showing you, trust your gut. You don't, like I said, intuition does not require evidence. Just take things for what they are and believe that, that you deserve more, even though you can't see it. Just keep reminding yourself. And what's difficult is when you, with writing these journal entries or the unsent letters, is that it does expose weaknesses in us. It shows us where we may be lacking in confidence, or it may expose a codependent pattern, or even, you may be an empath who needs to practice a little more self-love, or just remember that, just have solid boundaries so that you don't keep letting them get away with this poor treatment or cutting their toxic behavior off real quickly. You don't have to take all that nonsense. You don't deserve that. You're not a trash can for their foolishness. No, let the next person deal with that. Let them go back to the rock they crawled from under. Like, you don't deserve any of that. But I just wanted to, to talk to somebody who may be recently discarded and trying to process their emotions, as well as see where they are and just cope in that moment. Like, that's all I really wanted to do. Just accept that it was a lie. Accept that it was a lie. Allow yourself to grieve the relationship, to grieve what you've been, because it is a difficult thing. Don't beat yourself up. Don't call yourself dumb, crazy, stupid, none of that. No, you're just a human being who was taken advantage of, and you're hurt, and it's okay. But remember that this pain, it doesn't last always. I remember there'd be days when I was trying to just do my job and the tears would just roll down out of nowhere, and I would not be able to stop them. Like, it cut, that pain that you can feel, where you can almost say, like, it's right here that hurts, because it hurts, and it hurt deep. But look at me. Laughing, smiling, and just genuinely happy, because I don't have that toxic mess anymore, and I don't want it. Don't miss them, because they are going to do the same thing. Fortify your boundaries, fortify your self-respect. Just don't allow them to come back. Resist the hover, because it will come. And if they're not hovering you, don't worry about them not hovering you. Celebrate that, because you don't need that. You don't need that. You have a whole life ahead of you where you can just be great, where you can continue to dive deeper into your personal self-development journey and work on you. Like, narcissistic abuse, what it has taught me is that I'm stronger than I thought I was. It's taught me that it showed me all my strengths. It really did. I thought, like, literally I would not be able to live without him, but look, I'm still breathing. So he's not the God of my ear. I'm experiencing new emotions, new relationships, new friendships. I found my passion and my zeal for life. Like, okay, they can't kill you. They can't kill you. They need you. And so I just, want to encourage somebody today that don't give up. You're here on purpose, and you're in purpose. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Sometimes you're going to have to take it day by day. Sometimes it's going to be moment by moment, minute by minute, second by second. And that's okay. But keep moving forward. You can actually survive narcissistic abuse, rebuild and redesign your life to be everything that you wanted it to be. The abuse that we encounter does not define us. It has nothing to do, but it can refine us if you allow it to. If you take that pain, and if you take all of those things and don't allow them to make you bitter, because when we're bitter, we are the ones who become toxic. We are the ones who end up being, our own stumbling block to our happiness. You could end up looking and saying, like, all women are the same, and they're all, they just want you for whatever. Or you could say all men are the same, or all men are dogs. That's not the truth. that was just your ex. And sometimes it's, you know, it's the type of person that you go after or you allow into your life. And at that point, if you notice that there is a pattern that, why am I always dating narcissists? Why am I always dating these toxic people? Step back, figure out what's going on with you. And, you know, sometimes this just came to my mind. Sometimes people would be like, yeah, but, you know, I like having these arguments because the toxic sex, what am I saying? The toxic sex is off the charts. But you know what makes toxic sex so good is that that's where you are now beginning to experience the intimacy you actually crave in your relationship. So it's not that it's good, but you're just getting what you need as far as intimacy. But the one thing you have to remember about intimacy, it has really nothing to do with sex. Heightened intimacy outside of the bedroom will lead to good sex, period. Like, that's just how it is. And so figure that out. Self-reflect, take some time to yourself, and, you know, get the help that you need. Continue watching these thousands of channels on YouTube. One of my favorite channels is Just Say No to Narcs. I also like Narc Survivor. Yeah, those are my two favorites, I think. I have other ones, but I can't really think of the names off the top of my head. But like, engage in the, you know, in the many communities that are available here. And, you know, just see, like, it's amazing when you know that you're not the only person to experience those things. Like, okay, so this is longer than I expected it to be, but I just kind of wanted to share that. I just felt like it would be a good thing to talk about. And the next video that I'm going to be talking to you about is going to be why the narcissist blocks and unblocks. They're crazy. But there's a little bit of method to their madness. But like, okay, until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of each other.